All right, guys, it's time. Maybe the last big release of 2025 is here. Let's talk about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on 4K. Okay, welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken. Today, guys, look, it's Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go time. We are here today to talk about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the trilogy on 4K from Arrow Video. Look at this, guys. Did you ever think we'd see the day? This thing's been teased to death, I feel like. But you got all three Turtles films in a box set. The original one, guys, not the Michael Bay garbage, okay? The original ones from the 90s, 90, 91, 93, is in this box set together, all on 4K for the very first time from Arrow Video. And this set, I think it's still available. I think it's still available to get. Last I checked, it was like $57 on Amazon. So I'll link it down below. There's also a Blu-ray edition. There's also an alternate artwork edition that's exclusively on the Arrow Video website. So Arrow Video definitely made enough of these, I feel like, to go around, because this has been up for pre-order since, I want to say, September, like when they first put up those pre-orders. Like, they put up the pre-orders before they even officially announced it and all the special features. So yeah, guys, we're just gonna have a discussion about the Turtles on 4K today. This is definitely a long-awaited release for me to dig into. I mean, I've been a Turtles fan my entire life. I mean, Secret of the Ooze was probably, I mean, I definitely watched the first film as well. I definitely saw it before I saw Secret of the Ooze, but I think Secret of the Ooze is like the first film I can remember loving as a kid. Like, and I watched that movie so many times, like on repeat. I remember my sixth like birthday party, which would have been 1991, which is when Secret of the Ooze came out. I got the Turtles. I got Secret of the Ooze on VHS. That was one of the gifts I got. And we just all sat around the TV and watched it. Like, after we had whatever birthday party, ate the cake, like we all just watched Turtles. We might have watched it like 3 times that afternoon and just like reenacted it in the living room. Here's the thing with this set. I'm going to be positive, okay? It's Arrow Video. I love Arrow Video. And you know, they generally do great work. Okay, so there's going to be positives to talk about with this release, because Arrow Video is just a great company that does spectacular work. However, there are some negatives. Okay, it's not all good. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. I had some issues here and there, but it's such a big box set with so many like nooks and crannies and things to dive into. I was bound to run into a couple of problems. So we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna discuss that here today. I will say this is going for like $57 right now currently on Amazon, or it was going for 57, which is a great price. It's however you want to look at it. Even if people that aren't fans of the third one, which we'll talk about the third one, guys, third one's really not that bad. It's really not. Or if you're not a fan of the second one, you just want the first one on 4K. I get it. You want that standalone 4K edition of the first one. I think we could get that at some point. I think it's possible. They're going to sell the shit out of this first, and then they'll put the standard of the first one out maybe a year from now. But I think it could happen at some point. I don't think we'll see standalones of 2 and 3, but I think the first one's possible. When you look back at some of the stuff they've done in the past, like with the Hellraiser box set, they did the first one by itself on 4K. So I don't know. I think it's possible at some point we could get a standalone version. But let me just get into the unboxing of this first, guys, because I know I don't want to make you guys wait for the unboxing. You want to see what's inside this damn thing. Look at the cover right there. I mean, I got the original Arrow Video artwork, which is the original poster of the first one, and you can't go wrong with that. It's a great poster, guys. It's up there with one of the greatest movie posters of all time. So very smart of Arrow Video to make that the kind of flagship artwork on this. And then I'll show you guys both sides. You got the Warner Brothers logo right there, because this was New Line Cinema. But you take it out of the slip cover, all right, because it's a slip cover over a box set, a rigid hard box set. And then you got the cover right there, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You got the turtle shell, and then you flip it. You got the same spine, but on the back you got the freaking canister with the ooze in it. Like, how cool is that? So we'll talk about the movies a little bit as I go through these individual cases. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, okay, the original. Look at the artwork on that one. Really nice. You got Shredder right there. This is an all-time classic. I don't feel like I really recognized the greatness of the first until I got a little bit older. Now, I will say I think that people do hype this one up a little bit. It is still kind of a kid's action adventure film. It's not the dark, gritty, like, like dark, gritty action comic book film. It's not the Dark Knight or anything like that. It's still a kid's movie, but it does have a darker edge to it. For sure. You know, Shredder's a little bit more sinister in this movie, and the whole angle with the kids and everything and kind of bringing them into the Foot Clan. That's a very kind of mature plot, but it's still a kids movie. There's still goofy one-liners from the Turtles and all that stuff. But it is a great film, and it's no doubt the best film of the trilogy as far as an actual movie. But you got the front, and there you got the synopsis. This thing is loaded with features, you guys. We're going to get into all that. But on the inside, you know, you got some nice disc art there as well. I didn't realize that this was going to come with all this stuff, but you got like actual like trading cards in here, which is really cool because I grew up like, and they probably recognize the people that are buying this. Like we grew up in the 80s and the 90s. Like we grew up in the trading card era. I know people still trade Pokemon cards and crap, but I feel like everything had trading cards back in the 90s. And I definitely remember having some Turtles trading cards back in the day. But yeah, right here you got Michelangelo, you got Donatello. They're like reflective as well, you know, metallic. So that's pretty cool. And then you got Raphael, and these are in every case. So you got other characters as well. And then they got stickers in here, guys. They got turtle stickers. You do have reversible artwork as well for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I can showcase that. So there you go, guys. All right, let's get into the second one, Secret of the Ooze. Kind of the more cartoony, you know, movie. I mean, this one definitely takes, I feel like, a lot of influence from the cartoons at the time. And the cartoon, I think, debuted in the late 80s. So the cartoon was around when they did the first movie. But I feel like it kind of gained more popularity by the time Secret of the Ooze was being made. And they were like, make it more like, you know, kid friendly, like the cartoon. So there's less of like them doing the action with the weapons and stuff. There's less weapons. Like in the beginning, they're like freaking throwing toys and stuff at the villain. So they definitely wanted to make it more kid friendly in Secret of the Ooze, but that kind of stuff I didn't really pick up on when I was a kid. The Turtles were still fighting and they fought Shredder and things like that, and that's all I really cared about as a kid. But there's things in this movie that are just iconic to me. I mean, the Vanilla Ice dancing sequence. You know, the beginning with the pizza and Kino on the bicycle delivering the pizza when he talks to the girls in the beginning opening fight sequence. Super Shredder himself. I mean, Token and Razor. Like, there's just some iconic scenes in this film. Like, Super Shredder still looks great. Like, that design of Super Shredder, it's disappointing what they do with him in the movie. And just how he goes out. I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't seen it. But, like, the design of Super Shredder is freaking awesome in this movie. It's still awesome. It still holds up totally and completely. But on the inside, you got Super Shredder right there, which is super awesome. But yeah, this movie, I don't know if there's any other movie I watched more, honestly, in my entire life than Secret of the Ooze. I've probably seen this movie 200 times, like all from like age 6 to 10 is when I watched the bulk of this film, like so many times. You got a little, oh, this is cool. You got a little Roy's Pizza Village card right there. And you got little punches on the back with the 8th one being free. That's a nice touch. That's a nice touch. Then you got a poster on the inside. Lots of posters in this set, I have noticed. See, like I said, guys, there's a lot of stuff to dig into here. I'm gonna try not to take your entire day talking about the Turtles box set. But you know, when it comes to physical media and movies that I love, I like to take my time and really just dig into it and enjoy myself, okay? Because this really is the last, you know, the last big release of the year, so it kind of feels like the finale. There'll be other titles I review this year for sure, but this feels like the finale in a lot of ways for physical media in 2025. I don't know if anybody else feels that way. I know it's all subjective and everybody's looking forward to different things, but I feel like this is the one that kind of brings everybody together. Most everybody was looking forward to the Turtles box set. All right, but that's Secret of the Ooze. I love that movie. It's cheesy, it's goofy, but it's probably still my favorite Turtles film. It just is. Next up, we got the third one. Look at this, guys. Nice artwork on the third one. And I have to say, my memory of the third one, I felt like it was kind of shaky. And honestly, I felt like I had only watched it a couple of times. I remember having the VHS tape. I couldn't find it. I don't know where it is. I don't know where any of my Turtles movies on VHS are, but I had all three of them. But the yellow tape, I remember, having that. I remember having all three. I watched them all the time. For some reason, though, my memory until I rewatched it with this 4K was that I had only seen the movie maybe 3 times. But I'm watching the movie on 4K and I'm like, I remember everything about this movie. I remember all the lines. I remember all the jokes, all the funny parts. I remember where they all land in the freaking shits and they're all like getting up with crap all over their face. I remember when April's washing herself off at the little pond creek and they say swing and you have that Wayne's World crossover. Like I remembered everything. And I was like, I've seen this movie a lot. So I probably, because it was the Turtles, even if I didn't think it was the best of the three, I watched it a ton because I just loved watching the Turtles. I didn't care what movie it was. But yeah, this one to me, it's not that it's a weak film. It's really not. It's actually a pretty good movie. It's just as good as the other two, as far as an actual movie. It's not as, it's not in New York City. It's in feudal Japan. It's in a different time period. It's just different. It's a little bit, I feel like with the setting, maybe not the contents of the movie, but the setting's a little bit more mature. I feel like it's a period piece and not as kid friendly, I feel like. Just doesn't resonate as much. They travel through time. So, I mean, there's some cool stuff about the movie, some good action in the film as well, some good jokes, but you got an April O'Neil card in here. I like they got the same actress from the second one to come back to the third one. And I also really like that they got Casey Jones to come back, from the first one. I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, his role is kind of weird because he plays a character back in time that's different, but then his real character's in present day, and he's pretty much just babysitting the whole movie, so it's kind of lame. But yeah, Turtles 3's it's a good movie. I don't think it's a bad movie. I don't. I think people are just misremembering it. But the poster's freaking awesome. And the new artwork is awesome too. But that's all the cases, guys, for the Turtles. You also got another poster inside here as well. It's posters on top of posters. I mean, Arrow Video goes all out, guys. To get all this for $57, I know when it first went up for pre-order, it was like 80 or maybe it was 70. I think it was 70 actually. But that's a great price. Like these other labels are charging like 50, 60 bucks to get one movie, And then you got the booklet, which is like the menu of Roy's Greenwich Village Pizzeria with the number on there as well. You also got the menu on the back, which is freaking awesome. That's a great touch. Look at the prices, guys. Look at the prices. You're not going to see prices like that nowadays for pizza. But you flip through it. You got some nice stuff in here about the movie, some good writings and things like that. It's just nice to have this. Let's get into the transfers, guys, because there's some important things to note about the transfers here. The first one's a native 4K transfer. It's got Dolby Vision. It's got HDR. So it's a native 4K restoration from the original 35mm camera negative. The parts 2 and 3 are 4K restorations from the interpositive. So I guess they could not get the original elements to do that 4K restoration. So that's very important to note here when we go into talking about these movies on 4K. But 2 and 3 does have Dolby Vision and it has HDR. On both of those, they're just not native 4K restorations. Part 1 to me on 4K, I do have the Umbrella version right here, which is a really solid looking Blu-ray. It's solid. I thought that Umbrella did some work on this. That was more so because I think Warner Brothers and New Line put out the Blu-rays, all 3 of the Blu-rays, and they kind of match, but I only got part 3. I found this at a Dollar Tree. That's the only reason why I had this. But the movies, like I owned them on VHS, I owned them on DVD. I gave away my DVDs years ago. So I hadn't really owned any of these movies on Blu-ray. The only reason I got 3 is because I found it at Dollar Tree. The only reason I have this is because Umbrella released this cool like Stinko Vision edition. But this is a good Blu-ray. It's a solid Blu-ray. Part 1 on 4K, I thought looked excellent. I really did. I thought that for sure it was the best of these 3. And it's because it's exactly how, like, watching the movie on 4K, just the look of it aesthetically, it still has that very like gritty, grainy, grimy, like New York City aesthetic look to it. Almost looks like a 70s movie, like just the aesthetic of it when you're like with the New York setting. Almost, I mean, it's basically an 80s film. It came out in 1990, but it was filmed in the 80s, made in the 80s. But it definitely has like a more 70s, 80s like aesthetic look to it, just really gritty. And I thought it looked great. It looked exactly how I remember watching. This is what a good 4K should do, guys, especially when you do the original, get it from the original 35 millimeter camera negative. It reminded me exactly of how I watched it when I was a kid on VHS. It looked like that. Like just the colors, everything looked very natural, exactly how I remembered them to look. It just looked better and you could see more details and there was more clarity there. And that's exactly how I want these 4Ks to look. I want it to look how I remember watching it when I was a kid, just upgraded to 4K, better picture quality, lots of incredible detail. And that's what the first one looks like to me. There's some really great, I mean, they got Jim Henson to do the special effects work here, the creature shop, and all the effects and the costumes and everything just look so spectacular. But that first one in 4K, guys, just the perfect amount of grain, the perfect, like, just grimy, gritty, New York City, disgusting trash like style aesthetic to it. Like, but the colors look excellent. Dolby Vision, it's not so like it doesn't overtake it. Like the colors don't overtake it. They're not like super saturated or anything. It just looks right. That's the only way I can describe the first one on 4K. It just looks right. The second one, I wish I could say, this is where my criticism comes in. The second one, I wish I could say just looks right. It does not look right to me. It doesn't look at all the way I remember it. Like there's certain colors, like especially when they're in that like research science facility and there's all like the computers and the lights and stuff everywhere. The colors in there do not look right. It looks way too bright, way too white. Like I remember a lot more blues in that sequence. Um, and that sequence did not look great to me. There's a couple of sequences, in particular in the first half, I feel like where I was just not happy with how the picture quality was looking at all. The stuff that's in the junkyard, all that stuff looks great. And there's some really good up close shots too that highlights, you know, facial definition, things like that. The creature effects, Token and Razor, they look great in 4K. Some of that stuff looks really good. But there's other parts where like you can definitely tell, okay, this is not a native 4K. This is from the interpositive. And I was not happy, honestly. To me, it didn't look how I wanted it to look, like how I built it up in my mind. And this could just go into expectations, and maybe I shouldn't have had these kind of expectations. But it just didn't look right. It didn't look great. It looked like the interpositive was used. There was parts that didn't look and feel fully restored, didn't feel like they had that good definition and clarity. And overall, I just wasn't happy. I will say that like the last 30 minutes, the third act, the Vanilla Ice sequence and the nightclub, that stuff looked great. And I wanted that stuff to look great, so it delivered there. Super Shredder, like when he's ripping through the pier and the wood boards and stuff, he looks great. Super Shredder like always scared the crap out of me when I was a kid, really did. That stuff looks great. There's several sequences that look really good in the movie on 4K. There was just a lot that kind of disappointed me. Just the overall look of it just kind of disappointed me. The third one, however, looks great, which is also an interpositive restoration. I thought the third one looked great, and when you compared it, because that was the only one I could really compare to like a studio Blu-ray. I did pop in this Blu-ray, and I thought like compared to this Blu-ray, the 4K here is a really great upgrade. So if I'm using this as the templates for the other two movies, then I can say that this is probably a really good upgrade over all of the Turtles films that Warner Brothers and New Line put out on Blu-ray back in the day, just going off of this. But incredibly, I say this often, but it's very flat, very muted. and it just doesn't have a lot of good clarity to it. You know, it's really kind of fuzzy in parts, whereas this 4K really clears up a lot of stuff. It's really smooth. The picture quality is really smooth, and you got that, you know, Japan setting, that 1600 Japan setting. You got a lot of greenery and trees and just that period piece setting with the samurai costumes and the clothes the Japanese are wearing. All that stuff looks great. All those colors look phenomenal with that HDR and the Dolby Vision. The actual, like, I mean, the turtles themselves are just more colorful in this movie, for better or for worse, or regardless if you like that or not. They're just more colorful in Turtles 3, so that definitely shines through with that HDR and that Dolby Vision. That color looks great. That's my thoughts on the picture quality, guys. It's you know, kind of inconsistent. I think the first one's great. I think the second one kind of goes in and out of being good. And the third one's really good. Third one's really good. But keep in mind, the second and the third are interpositive restorations. So those are not going to be as great as what the first one looks like on 4K. Sound-wise, guys, they did upgrade 1 to a Dolby Atmos. So 1 is 7.1, and then 3 and 2 are 5.1. So sound-wise, I mean, everything, the soundtrack, the score, all that stuff's great. So there's some great action bits. And I think sound-wise, everything sounds good. I had no issues with the sound at all. I'm listening to this on I got a soundbar that kind of simulates that Atmos and that 5.1, so I don't have that full sound setup. But I imagine if you do have that full setup, you're going to be very happy. And for those curious, I am watching these on a 65-inch OLED LG TV. So I feel like I got a pretty good TV to be able to dissect picture quality for sure. But yeah, audio-wise, no issues with that. Diving into the special features that kind of round out this review. Let me put this back in the slipcover, guys. Lots of great features here, guys. There's like 9 or 10, maybe 11. I think there's like 6 or 7 features on the first one on that 4K disc. Then there's 3 on part 2, and then there's 3 on part 3. So I think there's at least 12 new special features on this set. But you got the director of the first one on the first disc. Steve Barron talks about this movie. I want to say there's a new audio commentary with the director as well. Yeah, brand new commentary with comic book expert and podcast host Dave Baxter, and brand new commentary with director Steve Barron. So there's a couple of new commentaries on the first film, and then you got that interview with the director Steve Barron, and then you got a Turtle Talk, a newly filmed interview with actors Robbie Rist, Brian Tochi, Ernie Reyes Jr., and Ken Scott. So these are all people that either voiced the Turtles or like played them in the costumes. And then you got Wet Behind the Shells, a newly filmed interview with producer Simon Fields. Judith Hogue gives a really great interview. I love that. The girl that plays April in the first one. And she talks about being in the movie Cadillac Man with Robin Williams and how like he was a big Turtles fan, and she was kind of nervous to tell him she was doing a Turtles movie at the same time. She was kind of embarrassed about that. But then when she did, it turns out he's a huge Turtles fan, and he was like trying to get her because she was having issues like traveling from job to job. And he was trying to help her get out of there early so she could go do the job on the Turtles movie because he was such a big fan. I thought that was a really good story, though. And then you got Beneath the Shell, newly filmed interview with puppet coordinator and second unit director Brian Henson and Rob Tagner, puppeteer for both Splinter and Leonardo, which Splinter looks great, guys. The effects work they did with Splinter, practical stuff, puppeteering is so good. Like Splinter looks excellent in all 3 of these movies. But then you got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turf, a newly filmed featurette exploring the film's locations in New York City and North Carolina. You got alternate UK version with unique footage prepared for censorship reasons. And then you got presented in 4K via seamless branching. You also got an alternate ending from VHS work prints. And you got alternate Korean footage because apparently in Korea they had to take out some of the Japanese stuff because of cultural disputes and things. And then you got theatrical trailers, image gallery, all that stuff. And then on the second one, you got a few interviews. Now, I will say with the second one, I wish they would have had more like movie-specific features. It feels like they kind of folded that into the first one special features, and then they kind of continue that in the second one. The third one has, I feel like, movie-specific features, which I enjoy. But they did at least give you a brand new commentary on here with the director, Michael Pressman, and then you got a newly filmed interview with the composer of all 3 of the movies. You got Hardcores, a newly filmed interview with Kenny Wilson, mold shop supervisor at Jim Henson's Creature Shop. So they go into a lot of the effects stuff there. And then you got The Secret of the Edit, a newly filmed interview with editor Steve Merkovich. So, I mean, I guess there are kind of specific features there for the first one with the editor. But the composer one kind of covers all the movies, and then the Creature Shop kind of goes into all the movies as well. So just not enough about like Secret of the Ooze specifically. I wanted a Vanilla Ice interview. Okay. That's what I wanted. All right. Can you all not give me what I want? After giving me all this. You also got some brand new interviews with some of the actors of this movie. You got Shimono, and then you've got Vivian Wu in here as well. So that's a couple of new interviews in this. So just 2 features for 3 with the actors in the movie, so those are specific to the movie. And then you got 3 interviews with Secret of the Ooze, and then I think 6. So it's 11 new features in total with 3 brand new audio commentaries. So all in all, guys, I mean, Arrow Video 100% delivered with the set. Even though I got problems with it, it's like they still delivered a great package and release right here. And for the price point too, like it's a great price point, especially if you got this for like $60. It's been like 57 to 60 for the last few weeks, guys. So everybody's had plenty of opportunity to grab this at a good price. So all in all, it's a great package. If honestly, like, I don't know. We'll see when we get to the end of the year. Like this could maybe be my favorite release of the year, despite the fact that I got problems with it. Like overall, there's so much positive here. It vastly outweighs the negatives. But I did want to dive into those negatives because I think that's important to get into and to give you all a complete picture of this package. So hopefully I did that here today, guys. Hopefully I didn't bore you too bad. This is 100% though a recommendation. I mean, it's a great set, especially if you love the Turtles. To finally have the Turtles get this level of recognition from an Arrow video is just spectacular. I loved it. So thank you all so much for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on those bell notifications for all future videos and follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.